A research by Bankrate states that 1 out of every 3 adults in America was scammed in 2024. Wow, what a number! And 2 out of every 5 of them did not eventually get their money back. Wow, we're going to be talking about preventing scams. My name is Dare Shokunbi. If this is your first time, I am your number one financial clarity coach, and this is Financial Clinic. A financial clinic, we move people from financial chaos to financial stability. And that's my job here this evening. And I'm going to be talking about scams. Recently in Nigeria, we heard about a major scam, and some say over 600,000 people were affected. Well, some also say that a couple of billions of naira was wiped out. Well, the authorities tend to have a different opinion about that, saying 1 trillion naira was wiped out. But scams occur everywhere in the world, and every nation, every continent is being touched by scams. Like I said about what happened in the United States of America, you can just imagine 1 out of every 3 adults scammed in 2024. How many people is that? America is about 360 million people, and then adults are about 264 thereabout. And guess what? That means you have over 85 million people being scammed last year. But in such a country, you still have 3 out of every 5. I mean, still being able to recover their money, and 2 are left without an option of recovery. In this part of the world, it's a different ball game entirely. There in the US, some of the scams that many people experience include employment scams, where someone will say, "Okay, I'm a recruiter, so I'm going to get you a job, but you need to pay a fee." And then after paying the fee, the person vaporizes. They couldn't find the people anymore. We also have the grandparent scam, where someone receives a call and then you're told your loved one has been kidnapped, and suddenly you have to pay something for it. Also, we have a meme coin scam. Last year lots of memes were coming out there, for those who know crypto quite well, and people started investing, and the rest is history. They could not lay their hands on their money again. These are different scams. We also have free fake price scams, where people are told you have just won this and that and this, so you need to pay this and all that. These things happen abroad. These were the top scams that happened in the United States of America in 2024, and people lost billions of dollars. Well, globally, $1 trillion was yielded to scam in 2024. And now we have what happened in Nigeria. I would not like to mention names here, but you know what I'm talking about. Nigerians, over 600,000 Nigerians, so they say, lost to this program. Well, I got a news today, and the news is that they have also opened again to give people an option to withdraw. But guys, scam na scam, okay? And the truth about scams is this: scams has been here for ages, and they do not even change strategies. The same thing plays out over and over again. As one who has also been scammed on several occasions, okay, I hope that as I begin to talk today, I'll be able to touch on 1 or 2 experiences so that you can also benefit from my story. But if I'm not able to do that, I'm sure you will still have a great time before the end of this. So many scams disguised as investments. And because of this, you need to be careful out there. The scammers use the same method, and this method keeps working. So, what's the problem? How does this work? What can you do about it? All right, so let's get started. First off, This is Nigeria. What are the regular scams that people fall into? Number one is a real estate scam. I'm going to talk about two different real estate scams in Nigeria. The first is the apartment scam, the agent scam. Sorry, I call it the agent scam. And the agent scam, you're told that there's this wonderful apartment somewhere and that you can rent it. But the scam comes with a caveat that says that the house is not ready. So because the house is not ready, many times they will even take you to certain apartments, show you the apartments and say you can see there are lots of apartments, but it's not ready. So when they do this, it puts the mind of potential renters at ease and say, okay, but they will now tell you, they create an urgency and say, this apartment is going very soon. Can you see it's beautiful, even though it's not completed? In this way, they tell they patronize couple of clients. Some might be 10. In fact, I've heard of cases in which they are up to 20. You'll tell the same people the same thing and say, okay, make a deposit so that you can secure this place. And then you find out that by the time the apartment is ready, none of the people that paid that agent will have access to their apartment. This is apartment scam. Another scam in the real estate section is the land banking scam. So someone tells you, oh, we have this landed property here and there, and then they tell you all good things about this property. And you find out, I mean, maybe you've paid, even told a couple of your friends, and eventually you don't have access to the property. Sometimes, most times, this is a scam. Sometimes real estate companies oversell. Did you hear about the story? There's a story about this Nigerian guy, is Emmanuel Munde. He sold an airport in Abuja, a non-existent airport in Abuja, for $242 million. He sold this to a Brazilian. This was a major scam. It was caught in the year 2016. He did it, I mean, way back, I think about 19 years before then. But guess what? He was caught. But this guy had parted with $242 million. Well, you say that's big money. Yes, many people do it with the small money, selling properties that do not exist. Therefore, is it not better to always? So, in fact, this guy um, pretended to be the CBN governor, having the power to be able to do this. Is it not better for you to talk to the experts when you're about to make these choices, right? When you're about to lay out your ad-end cash to buy some of these things. Most times people do not even recover from scams. Some people put their life savings into it, and yet these people don't bat an eyelid to take it away from you. Another scam we have in Nigeria is the online scam. Has this ever happened to you? You go online, you want to buy something, and then you pay for that thing. After paying for the thing, the seller blocks you off from all social media handles. Maybe not, I mean, it becomes inaccessible. I remember there was a time my wife wanted to surprise me with a couple of shirts and then saw those beautiful shirts online. Paid the guy, and then the next thing, the guy disappeared. We went to the bank and see whatever the bank could do about it. I say, oh, he opened one account that is not going to take lots of money, and then there was no KYC on the account. These are the devastating things. By the time it goes down, the buyer is left with the bag. So this online scam. We also have the money transfer scam. And for the money transfer scam, maybe someone bought something from you or you have even parted with the goods. You find out that the guy did a transfer and then you can see the alert on your phone. Wow, and you're like, wow, the money has entered, and the next thing you release the goods. But when you go back to check your banking app, you will not find it there. This is another scam, the money transfer scam. So because when you check your SMS, you will find that you will see the transaction, your balance will rhyme, but it is not on your banking app. That's why you should also check. There was another instance I heard where someone parted with the goods. This guy had paid, and then the next thing this guy did was to report that transaction as fraudulent. Guys, scammers out there don't care how you feel. So you need to take the right measures to protect yourself. There are also the crypto scams, the investment scams. And that's why you should be wary of anything called an investment. Because an investment, based on the etymology meaning of investment, an investment is meant to clothe you for the future, protect you, adorn you for the future. But what happens is that most of these things people call investment are not meant to adorn you. In fact, they are meant to tear the clothes you currently wear. So, putting your life savings in all these things is very, very risky. Some people enter into scams knowing that this is scam, but they just like, okay, let me give you a shot. I'm going to do it for 1 month. They'll be here for a while. I'm going to tell you the things you need to watch out for you to avoid these scams. Okay. Some people say the only reasons people fall into scam is because they are greedy. Guys, I come to know that it's not all about greed. What would you say about my wife buying a shirt to surprise her husband and then it is at a decent price? So it's not like the prices were dragged down, there was no discount on the clothes. That is not greed. So there are different reasons people get scammed. First is, yes, people have desire for easy money. Someone tells you you can make 100% on your money in 1 year. Sorry, in 1 month. Yeah. So how on earth is that going to happen? How on earth? Have you ever seen a company declaring 100% profit on its total balance sheet in 1 year? And yet someone promises you that in 1 month. I feel this is, oh, I've checked, they are registered with SEC, they are this, they are that, they are this. Come to think of it, if money was that easy, why are the richest of the richest still working? If you could sit down, press a few keys, someone tells you it's AI. If you could do that in the comfort of your room, why should people be on the streets? This is something that is not realistic. But this is it. Imagine, any rate that goes beyond, say, the annual inflation rate, and then you are going to get that rate every month. Guy, beware. The second reason, other reason why people fall into scam is because of financial stress. What you find out is that most times scammers show up when there is economic downturn. Anytime everyone is complaining the economy is bad, things are poor, things are not working, at that period, you find a lot of scammers out there. And that's the same story. Now is a tough time. People fell into this scheme that started last year and their monies are all gone. Promising 30%, 100%. Oh, no, that's just quite absurd. The third reason is that sometimes people lean towards trusted authorities. But who are these trusted authorities? Anything that is marketed by influencers, actors, guys, they are all paid. So, what do you expect them to do? They have to deliver. Well, thank God that these days the authorities in Nigeria are clamping down on promoters of such scheme. And finally, ignorance can also be a reason why people fall for scams. Yes, I agree. Some people fall for scam because of greed. Okay, so let's get started. How do you identify a scam? What are the properties that will make you know that this is a scam? Most of these things, people overlook them. People feel it's not, it's, and then maybe because of someone that referred them, they go for it. So the first thing is anonymity of the founders. When you have projects that are going to do great, great, great jobs, and somebody says, "Oh, this AI is going to blast the whole world. It's going everywhere in the world, and it's going to, this project is going to change how things are done in the world. It has turned over the forex market." There is no one doing a great thing that decides to hide it. They don't bury their heads. The richest man in the world is not burying his head. Yes, we know there may be many other rich people, but you don't see them hiding and saying, "Oh, I don't want to be known." Founding such a thing that is like going to change the world, going to take everybody out of poverty. People are so interested in fame that they will put their face out there. Anonymity is the first sign, anonymity of the founders is the first sign that this might be a scam. Yes, I understand, like in 2014, 2015, 2016, you had lots of crypto projects that were genuine, and then those guys were anonymous. Sorry, 2016, 17, 18, yeah, they were anonymous. But now things have changed. You hardly see any crypto projects where the founders are anonymous. And why were they anonymous then? Because nobody knew what the authorities were going to do with the regulations. So most of them hid their faces. But we have come that far, and then you don't need to bury your head in that kind of scheme again. Any system, any investment, anything that does not show the face of the founders, guys, avoid it like a plague. This is one of the best warnings I can give to you as we speak. That's the first. The second thing is this: the age of the business. Now, many times people will tell you this business has been here since 2016. I've fallen into scams before, and I've been told that, "Oh, this business, these guys have been here for a long time." They quote certain dates, and then you're like, "Wow, they've been here for long. So why didn't I get to know about them so early?" And you don't know that you're on the pathway to being scammed. So, whenever anybody tells you a business and say that this business, these guys have been here for a long time, you need to check yourself. For instance, if you want to check their website and say, "Okay, how long has this website been around?" You can Google and then find out how long these websites have been around, right? There is this site called whatsmydns.net. WHATSDNS, WHATSMYDNS.net. Go there and then enter the site address. Once you enter the site address, you will see the age of the website, you will see the owner of the website, you will see when the website is expired. Because when I also just started the journey to crypto investing, there were projects that we were told this has been up for many years and all that. And you find out that sometimes, when I began to learn about this, I saw that there were places in which you can check to see the expiry date of a website. You find that those websites sometimes were just going to last for maybe a year or two, and then they expire. That means that's a sign that these guys will be out of the market very soon. So you can always check these things online. There are lots of information for you that can help you identify the scammer. The third thing you can check out there is outrageous growth rate or outrageous interest rate. So inflation rate in Nigeria is around 30%. Well, depending on the item you buy. And then having an inflation rate of 30% should guide you towards the right investment. So let's say you now find this investment that tells you they are going to pay you that same 30% in 1 month. Hell no. When the rates are extremely high, above the inflation rate, that is a signal that something is lurking. So, for instance, a 30% interest rate every month means that by the end of 1 year, you have had 360% interest rate. Some of these systems are such that you will hear things like, okay, you will on a machine, and when you on a machine, I remember the one that I did, or I fell into in 20, I think it was like 2017, 2018. So they said, okay, you on the machine, you go every time, 24 hours, you go there on the machine. And when you do that, you had first funded the so-called machine. Now you begin to trigger it on every day. And then, it looks like, oh, okay, because it was crypto, it was new, everybody seemed to be innovating. Well, maybe this is one of the innovations, and we began to do that every day. You would see the growth, but the truth is, those guys have gone with your money a long time ago. While you sit there, owning a supposed machine, they had gone with your money. Of course, eventually, the money did not come out. If a few hundreds of dollars as at then. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is this is if you have outrageous rates, it's going to grow at a faster rate than you ever expected. Nothing really should be done by you. When they say, oh, even if you're a market woman, you are this and that, you will see your money in your phone. Not knowing that there can be mirror accounts. There can be mirror accounts that makes it look like things are happening, but nothing really is happening. So you see outrageous rate, it is a pointer to being a scam. The fourth point, and on this point, I'm going to rest my case. The fourth point is ask yourself a question. Which of the authorities in this industry or in this field is talking about it? For most of these scams, they can get influencers to talk about them, they can get um, actors, actresses to talk about them, but you do not see authorities talk about them. In fact, most authorities do not even sell schemes. One of the things I also discovered is that sometimes these guys can also disguise as an authority. You remember about Manuel Munde that I mentioned about, who scammed someone $242 million. He wasn't the only one. He did it with a couple of people, and he disguised as a CBN governor. But this is it. They could disguise. If someone disguised and say, oh, this is the founder of this thing, mentioning the name of the biggest and the baddest forex trader, and say that this is the founder. The next thing you want to do is you want to dig deeper. You go ahead to the person's social media channel and then look if you see anything like that, even in their bio. If you don't see anything like that in their bio, then that is a pointer. If the recent scam that happened to most of Nigerians was something that was real and was true, everyone doing AI would have talked about it. Everyone in AI would have talked about it. Everyone in crypto would have talked about it. Everyone in trading would have talked about it. The way that program is designed. So which authority is talking about it? And by authority, I don't mean anybody that you just think is an authority, but who are the people that have studied in this path? Who are the people that have credence in this path? Even in this part of the world, you have people online who are big time forex traders. And then they have been prominent for years. You also have people who are crypto enthusiasts, crypto traders, owners of exchanges. You should always follow those people on Twitter if at all you hear anything. You would see it on their status because they often put it in their bio if they are the ones responsible. And if not, you could also slide into their DM or ask the question publicly. Look for when they are holding programs, because holding Twitter spaces or whatever spaces they are holding, and then ask that question. Let them be involved in this decision making. Why? Because experts, especially those who have studied that course, have something to protect. Do not follow anyone who has nothing to protect. There was this joke that was on social media. So this guy went ahead, met this man, and told him, "Have you heard about, that that scam project? So have you heard about this?" And then the man said, "Give him a bottle of Coke." And they gave him a bottle of Coke and says, "Okay, do you want to support that?" I'm not sure if it's snack or bread. He says, "Do you want snack or bread?" He says, "Okay, I don't mind." The guy ate. And after the guy ate, he wasn't talking about that program again. And that's because most of those that drive these things are food soldiers. Any system that leans extremely towards referral is a pointer to a scam. So how do I mean? Let's say that, okay, referral bonuses for this program is on the high side, and then it's enough to drive you crazy to look for other people consistently. There is no product, there is nothing, there is no human that you can point to that is supporting this program. There is no authority that is doing anything in this cause. Then these are pointers. If it is just, oh, referral, we collect your money and then we multiply it, and at the end of the month we double it for you. Now this system, by now every Nigerian should know, anything that doubles money for you, even in 1 year, is a potential scam. We have also had legit businesses that have done things in this line, such that you begin to see them promote and say, oh, this and that, refer people and all that. There are some industries that rely heavily on referral. So don't get me wrong. But these industries that do not have, any referral thing to them, and then you just see someone suddenly beginning to preach it, you don't need any skill for it, you don't need any knowledge to do it, you don't need anything, just press a button. This is weird. So you can avoid scam if you take note of these four things. And maybe the fifth that I mentioned was aggressive referral marketing. So when it has aggressive referral marketing with no product, with no face to it, then it's a pointer that something is off. Guys, we are doing this because we do not want you to be the next scammed person. It is not a good experience or a great experience to be scammed. For those that have been scammed before, guys, shine your eyes, because it will be easier for those things to find you once again until you lose and lose and lose and lose. For those who have never been scammed, don't get into that game. I would like you to watch this over and over until you have understood what I have spoken about. If you have questions, you can always drop questions and I would be glad to answer that question. So we don't want you to fall into a scam. That's why we are saying you should begin to take steps towards it. Because most of these scammers take time to do three things. The first is they plan. Scammers can take years, and that's why they can build a website 2 years ago, because they have you in the anticipation. They take years to plan, forming a team, okay, forming a team that can market the product, a team that can talk about it, a team that can build the social media presence. They take time to do that. They do a lot of planning, years, months of planning. They put that into work. After planning, the next thing they do is to launch. In launching, they engage victims. So enlightening. Thanks very much. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, bro. So the next thing is they engage victims, all right, or potential victims. They engage people and then begin to build a funnel. They understand the business of marketing very well and possibly got a very, very good marketer to be on their side. So they begin to engage you, create WhatsApp group, create Telegram groups, create groups that can get people. So no, they don't create WhatsApp group most times. That's the bigger ones. It's the small guys that do 50K to 100K. Those are the ones that does WhatsApp group. But because they want to keep themselves anonymous, they use Telegram and then build that community, create a funnel, and also create a sense of urgency. When they create this sense of urgency, you're like, wow, if I don't get into it, I'll be the last person. I know the way some people play the game is just to say, I know this is a scam, but this is the opportunity for me to make it big. And then that becomes their pursuit. Then at the end of it all, while most of the victims have been making money, referring their friends, their family, spoiling their names because of this guys, the last thing is this: they cash in. At what point do they cash in? They have been cashing in gradually, gradually, and then they do the grand slam towards the end of the program. Well, to some that were part of the recent experience, that's what happened. They cash in at that point and then begin to tell you that, okay, we have a glitch. When you begin to hear glitches, that is a sign that it's all over. Unfortunately, at that point, when glitches are prominent, they have already cashed out. Sorry, I know it's not something to laugh about, but at that point, they have cashed out. So don't be the next victim of a scam. You can protect yourself, protect your loved ones. Share this with them because as this scam is rounding off, some people are planning another scam in the next 3, 4, 5 years. And guess what? People will fall into it. It is very tough to have your hard-earned money and your life savings ditched into a scam and then you cannot recover from it. I say something to people when I speak with them. I say, God gives every human a shot at wealth. One of the things is this: because people lack knowledge, they destroy that shot at wealth. Somebody as dug a pit for that $300 that is meant to build them that financial freedom. And that's because they fell victim of a scam. So guys, out there is not nice as the economy begins to, as the economy goes through chaotic times, more of these people will show up. Somebody will call and say, let me help you recover your money from that. All those things will play out. Please don't be the next victim. Be safe out there. If you're just joining us, please like, subscribe, and share. I'd love to see you in the next class. See you next week, Thursday. Do have a pleasant one. And happy Labor Day to everyone.